Hey guys, actually my hair's not that messy right now. Like here and there spots. I danced. I just finished with dance and today was it was a good dance day and I want to say this for multiple reasons because if you watched one of my recent videos, I think it was actually one of yesterday's videos. Or it was like kind of one of my more recent videos. I talked about how Thursday was not like the greatest dance day for me. Like I kept making mistakes and my flexibility was like worse than normal. And like all of this, I talked about like it was kind of a harder night that night. I stayed happy, positive like that, but it was like a harder night, and so like today, like I was kind of concerned that I had like a nice break, like time to breathe, and I felt like much better. Like what I mean by that is like I kind of felt like I logged off like kind of early on Thursday because I kind of just felt like I needed a little break. Like I worked so hard in dance and just like I worked really hard trying to come up with content for you guys, and this is kind of a video to like bring that like to a happier like thing. This is kind of a part to that video, but talking more happy about like what actually happened today. Also, today was like kind of confusing with one thing because there were two names on there that were kind of like similar to Lolly. Like, so like, I think so something kind of happened today and I'm gonna explain that. But I'll get to that part of the story. But I was like, on Thursday, my flexibility was worse than normal. Like, I will say, flexibility, not my strongest area. But now it's actually fairly decent and it's made a massive improvement since I started Worldwide. And I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, in this video, I'm gonna quickly show you something, like a really cool trick. If we just quickly unplug and let me quickly sit on the floor before and I can. Okay, want to show you that. Sorry, it's not the best angle. Well, there's nothing I can do about that. Oh, I can. It is what it is. I want to show you that before my warm-up and stretch class wears off. Well, I'm still warmed up and well, I can, because when I warm up, like after I warm up, like I'm a little bit better with like the stretching, like warm up and stretch is that we go back and forth and stuff to like we do a warm up and stretch. It's like very self-explanatory, but afterwards, like after a while, like it wears off, and then it's like I'm not as flexible as I am because I'm like tired and not as warmed up anymore. So I want to do that like quickly. Yes, you saw that correct. I did a full right side split, and to get even better, my chest, like I literally leaned all the way forward. My hands were past my foot. My foot was nice and pointed with a nice straight leg. And both of my legs were like nice and straight with like nice pointed feet, like gorgeous, like technique. And my chest was laying on my leg, on my right leg. that is some flexibility. And I'm going to be honest here. My flexibility never, and I mean, it basically never improved until I started doing Zoom classes with the ALDC. I feel like up to that, and it wasn't me not dedicated to stretching, it was that before Zoom classes, like before I started them, I would like see like all these cool tricks, and I would want to work on them. So I would literally watch, I want to say like a ton of videos, like 50, 60 videos, like just a week. Like I would watch so many videos a week on how to like get your split, or like basically like of how to get these tricks. None of the, and I would like follow along, like I would watch it like once, like a video once or twice, and then I would do it on my own, like after like filming or something, and my flexibility never got anywhere. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in these videos, none of them work for me. And everyone thinks, like, this is something that I'll say, like, I feel like, well, not everyone, but, like, a lot of people think that, like, to get your split, or to do what I just did, it takes all this stretching, all these different types of stretching, all this, like, warm up, like, and truthfully, it doesn't take as much as you think. I'm going to tell you what it does take to do what I just did. Number one, I feel like I'm going to kind of like talk you through like what your like goal is, and what you need to like get at like what I just did. You know, like what we're working towards, or which is like being able to like have like I go forward, like have some waist flexibility where we can go forward, and then like hip flexibility. That's like kind of where that comes from, and like it takes a lot of like I feel like hip flexibility and just a lot of flexibility to do, and it's mainly in your hips, and kind of a little bit like in that like kind of area where like your hips meet your stomach, like that a little bit, not much, and then I feel like it's mainly your hips. And then legs. Hips and legs, that's like, so to do that, when I do that, I'm going in a full split, and then I'm leaning forward. So like the first stretch that I would say, and the first step, I'm not going to talk too much on the split part, because go watch my videos on how to get your splits. Because I have lots, like, go watch like one of the more, like my most recent one. Also, I'm very annoyed with my left split. It's like kind of, sorry. I like when talking and I burp. Like, that's gross. Like, my left split is kind of a lazy left split, and like, I'm getting really annoyed with it. But like, that's fine. Like, everyone has like a good side and a bad side. Mine just happened to me. I have like, I'm an amazing, like, a really, really strong, amazing good side, which is my right side, and then I have like a very lazy, not fabulous left side. But it was worse at one point, so yeah. Like, but anyway, like, go watch that. But like to do what I just did, and the first stretch I would recommend is putting your legs like straight out in front of you. And then I'm going to show you, that's what, like, with flexed feet, which is this. It's like you're just in this. Nice flexed feet, legs out in front of you. And just kind of, like, first up, make sure before you do any form of stretching, you do a nice warm-up. I mean, And if you want kind of an idea of what like a warm-up is, actually I'm gonna send you over to Abby's YouTube channel and say go watch. She has a YouTube video where she shows her entire warm-up, or like a huge, like shows you one of the version of her warm-up. So go watch that YouTube video. There's two different ones. They're both like, I feel like they're both very similar. So go watch that. Also, if you want easy like access to find it, you can check out my playlist. I have one entitled Dance Training, and it should be on there. Both of them should be. Pick whichever one you want, or both. I would just know I don't think you're going to be able to actually, I would say I don't think you'll be able to get through both, at this, right after each other. But then again, I get through, an hour and 15 minutes, and you're watching, a video that I think is, 20. So, you have it easier than I do. But then, after you're warmed up, try to, put your legs out in front of you with flex feet, and then put your arms like this, and try to grab them. You're trying to, figure out where your starting point is, and which is, put your hand on your leg as far as you can do, and, try to, pull, let me explain it this way. Try to get your hands where as far as you can on your legs or your feet if you can. That's, the ultimate goal is, to, have your hands wrapped around your feet or gripped onto your feet. And then, try to, pull your, lean forward at the same time. That's, a good stretch. We actually do that in class. So, yeah, another, stretch would be, this is one that, Abby said is, one of the best stretches ever, and the importance of it kind of works for the trick that I just did, which is called flat back. So when you're standing up, your arms are going out into second. I can't, I'm going to do, this arm out and because there's a wall here. Here, I'm going to actually twist to the side. That will fix my problem. Rats. I thought it would fix here. Okay. And this is flat back. You with your arms out in second, which goes straight out, in proper alignment. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed, but they're not droopy. These strong arms, and you literally when you do this, Abby always makes us do it with our feet apart in second, which is basically just this, but with our feet. Our feet are literally just our toes and are pointing in front of us, but our feet are spread apart, so there's space, and you flat back down, which means you basically just lean forward, but not all the way down. It's your head should be she sometimes makes us do it with, and you can do this two ways. You can either do it with your arms out in second, or you can do it with your arms like this. Now, she always makes us do it both ways, and she'll have us do this, and then she'll have us do our arms out in second. But when we do it this way, our head should be in line, meaning our arms should not be farther down than our head, and our head should not be farther down than our arm. A perfect line. Almost it should almost look like a chair, almost like a stool, a stool up against the wall, and our, let me figure out, that, like, go watch Abby's video. Like, that's what I'm, like, getting from. It's hard to explain, and I would show you, but I'm tired right now. Like, that was a lot of, like, just stretching and warming up. Like, so yeah, like, but generally that, and you're probably like, why is that important? Like, it has nothing to do with, like, a split or, like, the trick. It does. It's important because when we're doing the trick, we're trying to get our chest laying on our knee. Now mine happened to be there, so, and our hands past our foot with a nice pointed foot. You can do it with the flex foot, but it's more challenging and it looks cooler and, like, nicer with a nice pointed foot and not flex. Because when it's flexed, there's less, like, we have to reach for. When it's pointed, it's farther we have to reach. So yeah, it's a thing. But what it does is that specifically is great because I feel like it really works our body and it makes it, like, it kind of, I feel like it helps getting, like, it helps, like, I feel like it really, like, works towards getting that chest and makes it easier to get the chest closer, like, whenever you go to, like, lean to walk your hands forward is what Abby called it, because she makes us, like, put our, like, hands next to our leg and, like, walk it out almost. Like, it makes it easier to do that part of it, which is, like, the part that makes it not just a normal split. So yeah, I would generally say that's, like, really the only tips that I really have. Like, the thing that I will say, I said this in video before, is that a lot of the times there's not all these stretches that go into getting a trick, or at least for me. What works for me is kind of, I also had to learn these tricks this one way, and that was it. I had no other option because I was in dance class. I'm not going to go do my own thing. Like, I'm going to, like, like, I'm going to be doing what the class is doing. So, or else I'll, like, get called out for it, and, like, Abby will generally say, like, well, Ollie, what are you doing? Like, so generally for me, how I had to learn and what actually worked best for me was just generally trying to do the trick. It wasn't like sitting around, it wasn't doing it. It was generally, I like worked, when I didn't have a split, I kept trying to slide into a split. Like, that was like the best thing, when, that I continuously tried. Even, I didn't use that, I can't do a split. Like, no. I forced myself to try. I got as far into a split as I possibly could. And then, and like, the most important part of, like, all of this, and I learned this from Abby and Gianna Martello, is to hold it for, like, a little bit of time. Like, not an insane amount of time, but, like, hold it for, like, 30 seconds. Because if you just slide, like, if you attempt to slide into a split and then you come right out of it, literally what you just did was nothing. Like, that literally takes away from what you just did. The point is to really stretch. Which means you have to, like, hold it for, like, 30 seconds. And another tip that I would say is push yourself to where it hurts a little bit, but you're not screaming in pain. Like, I'm not saying, like, scream in pain. Like, I'm saying, like, push yourself, and if it's, like, you're not feeling any form of pain, then push yourself a little bit more until it's just like, this is hard. Like, I'm really starting to feel it. It kind of is hurting a little bit, but it's, like, manageable, and it's barely anything. because that's how you're gonna work, and then you're gonna continuously do it to like that point, and when that point becomes easy, like come too easy, then you're gonna push yourself a little bit more, and so on and so on, and then eventually you're gonna get your split. So for me, with this specific trick, it was just continuously like working on my split and just continuously trying to do it in class, and I finally got it. So there isn't really this big secret on stretching. That's how it is. And like today when so this was like the part that I was like I said when I get to this part of the story I will, and which is that was kind of confusing. Was there were two names on there similar to Lolly, and that like so we were doing one thing and I like kept like Abby like was kind of like she was giving corrections and stuff, and finally only we were doing one thing, and which is like our feet together. Like we're literally doing like this, but we're like flat backing or like we're stretching and like going all the way forward like this. But we're going all the way forward. I can't because you guys are right there. And like we're really stretching that hip. We're like really getting a good stretch. And we actually we were doing the flat back thing, I think. Something like that. I think, yeah, we were doing the locked arms, which this is like a locked arm above, and we were flat backing over. And we were doing like TikToks is what Abby called them, where, let me wrap my hand, we TikTok. And it's like, we just lock our arms together and we like go side to side, but our legs, like the object of like this stretch, and to like keep our leg on the floor, and then we're TikToking, so we're trying to get our knees on the floor, keeping our knees on the floor, and then we're using our waist to like TikTok side to side, which is just going like this. And Abby she kept saying the one name. I truthfully, like, I'm not going to say the name. Also, I do not really know which one she was, because there were two people with similar sounding names. Like, if you read, like looking at the screen, they were not spelled like anything like Lolly. But when Abby would say their name, it sounded a little bit like it. And she kept saying the one name and over and like giving this one correction to this person about like she kept saying this name and being like, and like keep your knees on the floor, like continuously like I kept thinking she was saying my name. I kept thinking she was saying Lolly, and basically I kept like I was starting to get really annoyed because I'm like my knees are on the floor like thinking she was giving me the correction. And then after, like, I want to say after, like, the 20th time, she, like, gave the same person the same correction, I realized she wasn't saying Lolly. She was saying someone else's name. And I got really happy about that because I thought she was, like, starting to get really annoyed over something that I wasn't even doing. And then I realized she wasn't talking to me. So that was good. Also, something really exciting happened today. I finally got in a full standing split on my right side. For those who don't know, there's a thing called a standing split, and it's basically, like, literally the name is right there, standing split. Like, it's basically a split as we're standing. So our hands are like, we're literally doing a full split and one leg up in the air. And then our hands, like our chest is like forward, and our hands are like touching the ground, like flat on the ground. And it's called a standing split. And am terrible at it. And I don't know why, because I have a split, and it's the same thing. And as a split, the only difference is it's standing. And I, like, always get annoyed when I can't do it. Like, I try, I'm, like, always so close, but, like, I don't have it. And then finally, today, I didn't even realize I was doing it. Like, I was trying to force myself farther, and all of a sudden, Abby literally said, and Wally, good job. And I look in the screen, like, I look up at the screen, kind of, like, twist my head, and I saw, because I, like, always have it where I can see myself, even though it's just, like, a tiny square, but I can, like, see myself, because some people have mirrors in their room. I have my vanity mirror, but that, like, doesn't really do anything for the spot that I dance at and stuff. Plus, it's my vanity mirror up high, so with, like, some of the, like, really low floor stuff, like, it doesn't do anything. So I rely on, like, the screen and, like, looking up at the screen and, like, seeing myself. And I looked up at the screen and saw I was in a full standing split. And I was so excited over that because I have been working towards that for almost a year now. And I'm, like, I constantly, especially lately, I get so close but not quite there. And like, at one point, I literally, or this happened, like, months ago, months ago, we had, like, my brother, like, came, and, like, my brother and his wife and some of her family came, and I was doing, like, a Sunday class. This was actually, like, the last Sunday class they did, I think. And, no, nope, it wasn't. They did a couple more after this. That's right. But this was, like, one of the last ones that they did. And she literally, like, so someone, like, one of, like, my brother's wife's, like, family members, or, like, I literally came over, we were doing, like, the standing split thing, and she literally comes over and it's, like, pretty dancers have their legs straight, and literally pushes my leg up into a standing split, which actually, shockingly, it did not hurt. It was actually really good, and that helped me out a lot. But ever since then, I have not been able to get into one. I've been working really. Now, my left side, I don't think my left side's there. But it's close. So, like, not super far behind, but, like, not there. So I was really excited over that today. Like, today just went really good. And I felt like especially when, like, my chest, like, hit my knee, even though I, like, did this, like, on Wednesday, I want to say, actually, was it Wednesday or was it Thursday? I want to say it was Thursday. Might have been Wednesday. Can't remember. I did it. Also, I'm so close to a straddle. Literally, like, the only thing stopping me at the point is that I literally get so close, and then my right leg doesn't want to turn. And what I mean by that is, like, I'm with a straddle, your whole body comes down. And so, like, my left leg literally, what happened is this part, or right here on both of my legs, have to be touching the floor. But my right leg does not want to do that. Like, I literally get my left leg, everything there. And because my right leg does not want to do that, my chest is like, I want to say like 2 or 3, maybe even 4 or inches away from the ground. And it's so annoying and that it, like, doesn't want to do that. And then it's like, then when I physically try to, like, do that, like, it's like no control over that leg. Like, it's like, nope. So that's, like, very annoying. That was, like, the biggest, like, most annoying thing today, because I like thought I was gonna get my straddle today, and then my right leg was like, nope. And usually it's my left leg that like is like, nope, we're not. I'm not gonna let you get the trick today. But for once it was my right side, which is really weird because my right side is my good side. I feel like that was because of the fact that I would like kind of like when I would always like put my left leg how it's supposed to be and like come forward, and then like last minute like do the right side like how it's supposed to be, like fix all the elements like fast, and I feel like it's just like not cooperating. So I'm gonna say peace out. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on the post notifications.